Ngozi's troubles began long before she understood the meaning of right and wrong. The day she ran across the village square in Umogwe and
Young lady,
accidentally
you
stepped on the
on
foot
me.
of an elderly woman known as Mama Uzodima. Instead of apologizing, the stubborn girl hissed, turned her face away, and continued running after her friends. The old woman stared at her with cold, sunken eyes and muttered words too faint for anyone else to hear. That night, while the rest of the village slept, something unseen wrapped itself around Ngozi's spirit, a cause she would not understand until many years later. The cause had grown into something dangerous. She followed her mother to Nkwa market one morning, and while her mother bargained for yam, Ngozi's eyes drifted to a spice seller's tray. Without planning it, without thinking twice, her small fingers grabbed 500 naira from the woman's pile. She hid it so quickly, even she didn't know how she did it. When the woman shouted that her money was missing, Ngozi simply blinked innocently. That was the first theft. It would not be the last. Years passed, and the compulsion inside her grew. During youth fellowship at church, she sneaked behind the altar and forced open the offering box, taking every coin and note she could reach. When the pastor accused her, she pretended to faint, and people pitied her instead of punishing her. Olonto, when she was 19, a neighbor saved money to buy a goat for her daughter's traditional marriage. Ngozi visited casually, but the moment she entered the room, that invisible force tightened around her chest. Before she knew it, she had taken the entire bundle of money. Her mother beat her until her arms hurt, but even that couldn't break the curse. At 22, she stole the headmaster's phone during a brief visit to her cousin's school. She didn't need the phone, she didn't even know how to operate it well, but the urge was too strong. Word spread through the village like wildfire. Ngozi has spirit hand, some said. Her eyes are not ordinary, others whispered. But no one knew the truth, not even Ngozi herself. Despite her reputation, Nnamdi married her. He was gentle and believed that love could change her. For a while she tried, she prayed, she fasted. She stayed away from places where she might steal. But the cause was patient, and it waited for the right moment. The worst moment came unexpectedly. One afternoon, she visited Auntie Toby, a hard-working woman known for her sharp tongue and sharper temper. Toby kept her life savings, a stack of money meant for her son's school fees, under a metal box under her bed. Ngozi sat on the edge of the bed and tried to look away, but her heartbeat quickened. Her palms became hot. Her fingers trembled. The pressure inside her chest grew until she couldn't resist. Her hand slid under the bed and took the entire savings. That evening, when Toby discovered the theft, she screamed so loudly the entire village rushed to her compound. Someone had seen Ngozi leaving the house earlier. Angry voices rose like a storm. Before Ngozi could explain, they dragged her out of her home, tied her hands, and pushed her into the center of the compound. Someone brought a tire. Another fetched fuel. The men poured it on her while shouting, "Today we will end this girl's wickedness. She has stolen from everyone. Bring the matches, let's burn her." Ngozi fell on her knees, shaking violently, crying that she didn't know when she took the money, that something controlled her, but no one listened. Just as a man struck a match, Nnamdi burst into the crowd like a madman, threw himself over his wife, and screamed, "If you must burn her, burn me too." The crowd froze. The elders intervened. After long arguments, they decided to spare her, but warned that if she ever stole again, the punishment would be immediate and final. That night, while the village settled into uneasy silence, a violent thunderstorm gathered. The sky darkened and winds roared like angry spirits. Suddenly, lightning split the sky and struck Mama Uzodima's hut, the same old woman Ngozi stepped on years ago.
The truth!
The villagers ran toward the burst of light and found her trembling, her charms scattered, and her wrapper burnt at the edges. Before they asked anything, she screamed, leave me, I confess." The elders forced her to speak, and she cried out that she had cursed Ngozi when she was a child, binding her hands with an unseen spirit that pushed her to steal at every opportunity. She said, "The thunder has warned me. If I don't release her, my own life will go." Terrified, she raised her hands towards the sky and shouted, "I break the curse, let her hands be free." At that same moment, in her house across the village, Ngozi jolted awake. Something heavy lifted off her shoulders. Her mind cleared, her heartbeat steadied. For the first time in years, the urge to steal disappeared completely. By morning, Mama Uzodimma confessed publicly, and the village forgave Ngozi. She walked around with tears in her eyes, overwhelmed by the peace she had never known. From that day on, she never stole a single thing, not even a grain of salt. Her freedom returned the same way her slavery began, with a single mistake and a bolt of thunder.